look at where your biggest pains are and what are the excuses that you're coming up with, and how are you falling into that excuse, I don't feel like it zone, rather than the one that is beating the odds.
But I haven't got my steps in today. I've been sitting basically all day in meetings all day. I'm going to go walk on my treadmill. I don't
Nice.
want to. Welcome to Evolve Ventures, the one place where leaders like you can dependably go to shift your consciousness to unlimited potential. I am your host, Bianca Thomas.
And I am your host, Emilia Smith. Welcome back to another episode at Evolve Ventures. Today, episode 99, episode which is called the I Don't Feel Like It Zone. We are going to be diving into a little bit about the neuroscience, our personal experiences, and some of the challenges that you might be facing when it comes to health, wellness, well-being, fitness, all that jazz, all the things that we've been talking about this month, specifically around the theme of evolved fitness and well-being. And so we hope that you enjoy this episode. We hope that you can resonate with it. It can speak some of your truth. But prior to jumping into this episode, if you haven't already listened to episode number 98, Your Brain Chose the Donut, we encourage you to jump back into that because that one was a fun one and certainly hot and fiery, as these all have been, quite frankly. So that being said, let's dive into it. Tell me about your experience recently. I know that you and I both have been definitely in the, what I like to call, pressure cooker of entrepreneurship, of business, of global leaders, and of people who quite frankly put themselves in the pressure cooker, aka tons of challenge. Yeah. And with that, always trying to manage mental health, level set with individuals that you work with, not only, colleagues, but clients as well as family members. And on top of that all, also trying to honor your boundaries, your standards, and your goals around fitness and health. So share with us and the listeners a little bit about what your experience has been like in that recently. And then we'll dive into the rest.
Fitness in and of itself is very challenging and can be very brutal, let alone when you add all of the other factors that, Emilia, that you mentioned. And I know there's probably so many leaders out there who are going through all of that, and they have kids on top of it that they're trying to be there for and raise, and pets and all of these other challenges. And I never realized how difficult it would be to maintain all of my habits while being a leader, while being an entrepreneur, while basically working 2 jobs, right? Because we have Evolve Ventures, which is like a full-time thing in and of itself, building a global business. And on top of that, having another full-time job that you're doing, plus your own personal development and your own growth, and trying to manage all of that. I'm truly understanding why there are so many overweight, out of shape, unhealthy business leaders, business owners, entrepreneurs, celebrities, whatever, because it is so challenging. It can be so unbelievably hard maintaining all of these habits and doing all of these things. And I'm experiencing it firsthand. So I've always been someone who has loved fitness, who has loved exercise and sports and whatever else. Like, I was always playing a sport growing up, and the gym and physical fitness have been a part of my life now for 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. And I have never been satisfied with my body. I've just always known I can do more, and I can be better, and I can look better, and I can perform better. And I wasn't giving myself the accountability that I needed. Like, you can only guide yourself so much before you just need an outside perspective, where you need a coach, you need someone who knows more than you to help you and guide you. And I've always been somebody who has invested in coaching. I currently have a coach, Alan. I love him to death. He has helped exponentiate my life in a way that I never thought was possible. Emilia coaches me all the time. She's my business partner, but she's very much a coach and a mentor to me. And on top of that, I invested in a fitness coach. So I've been working with this coach for almost 3 months, actually more than that. No, it's been 3 months. But I've also been dealing with a back injury. You know, I hurt my back when I was 18, as we mentioned a couple episodes ago. And so I'm in a I'm in a like a cut right now, which is basically I'm trying to decrease my body fat and lean out. But I've had to kind of put a pause on that and be more in like a maintenance kind of recomp because of my back. You know, I can't do as much exercise as I was before. And the stress of that on top of everything else, my fitness and my fitness goals have been getting the back burner. So I get up every morning at 4:30 to go to the gym because I can't go at night because of my schedule. And my gym closes at like 8 o'clock, which is ridiculous. But so I can't go at night. So I go early in the morning. And I actually did that as an optimization tool as well, because I really like taking pre-workout before I go to the gym. Like, it really helps me. And I'm not going to take pre-workout and then try to go to bed. It's just not optimized. Like, I need my sleep schedule. So I've been working with this coach, and he knows it and I know it. I have not been giving it 100%. And him and I actually had a call the other day, and he called me out, which I asked him to. I was like, I really want you to be hard on me. Like, Emilia and Alan, like, they give it to me. So like, do not be afraid. Please give it to me straight. And he's like, okay, your macros are all over the place. You're not hitting the numbers you're supposed to be hitting. Yeah, you're within the calories you need to be doing, but like, I gave you this number and you're not doing it. And he's like, you're so focused on trying to lose weight that you're screwing yourself because you're not doing what I'm telling you to do. And I'm like, damn. Okay, how do I learn from this? What do I do? And that's just my mindset. But I have not felt like it. I have not felt like eating the macros I need to. I'm stressed out. And I know when I get stressed, I go to food. Food is a huge comfort zone for me. I have this like chocolate granola stuff that I need to stop buying now, because I will literally like take the whole bag and just down it. Literally, I just go grab it and I'm like, ooh, this smells so good. And there's chocolate and everything in it. And it's just like, oh, and the bag is gone. Like, it fits within my calories though. So it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's not. And I need to, anyways, it is so hard. It has been so challenging maintaining these goals that I have, while also, you know, doing all of these other things, being a leader, being an entrepreneur, having a team, doing calls with a team, and another full-time job. It's just been unreal. And pressure is a privilege, and I'm beyond grateful for it. Beyond grateful. I'm growing in a way I never thought I would be. But I'm being challenged in a way that I didn't realize I would be either. And my fitness is taking a hit from it. And you and I have been talking, and I know you're kind of experiencing something similar where like, or I'll just speak for me. I have not felt like it. It's so hard. And we're going to go into more about that. But like, for all of those out there listening, like, you are not alone. You are not
Mhm.
alone. We are going through it too. It is not easy.
No, not at all. And one of the things is too, like, I think that, we're going to dive into the I don't feel like it zone. Yeah.
Mm.
But like, to hear a little bit who you're speaking to, or who you're learning from, or who you're listening to, or who you're connecting with, to put it quite frank, I think, I was having this like conversation with Alan, my partner, before we were going to the gym a couple of weeks ago. And he was saying, like, babe, I think people think that we like feel like it. And I was like, nah, people don't think that. No, they can't. But in reality, how much of that behind the scenes of the like, I effing do not want to go to the gym. I do not want to do any sort of fitness. I do not want to stick to this goal that I've set for myself. I do not want to be consistent. I do not want, like, it's so much easier to continue to watch Lord of the Rings or whatever movie that you're watching than to have discipline around, consistent discipline at that, around
Yeah.
getting to bed earlier, to winding down your day of service, to realizing that your team member is not going to burn down and die if you don't send them this, like all of these things. Your clients will not run away from you just because you're not sending this one text. However, with that, there's always this strict dichotomy that we're always playing, which is, how can you juggle this concept of juggling? How can you juggle the things that do really matter with the other things that do really matter? And how can you make sure that you're not losing momentum on that as it pertains to juggling what matters? Yes, okay, we let the balls drop that don't actually matter to you. Like, for example,
Mm.
like I remember, like, I like completely cut off, like, I have a whole list of different things. Like, I literally do not watch TV unless it's in a lot, like, there's certain standards, unless the XYZ condition are met. Like, and all those balls have dropped. But now the balls that I do have that I'm juggling, like, your arms get tired, to
Yeah.
use this metaphor. Like, you get like, you had mentioned it in our IG live the other day. How many times do I want to eat this chicken and rice
Oh my
after
God.
40 something days of eating, from a macro perspective? What is the most optimal for your body, for your fitness goals, for your health? And the thing is, it looks different for everyone. So we will make sure that we continue to preface that. Your I don't feel like it zone is not that much different from someone else's I don't feel like it zone.
Mm.
Though your experience around fitness, your fitness journey, what makes you feel like you're in a good healthy state, or in an area, a zone of well-being, that might be unique to you. Yes, but that I don't feel like it, that happens all the time for me. Like, there's not just this one moment that I'm consistently, quote unquote, emotionally feeling, that I'm just like all the time wanting to go to the gym, get my fitness workout all the time. What I notice, there's trends and there's patterns. And through our conversation, I want to make sure that we mention what we experience so that other people can start to pick up on what their trends and patterns might be.
Yeah.
I recognize that first thing in the morning, I am so excited to get to my workout that I schedule for at the end of the night. And I get so excited. However, that excitement loses its fuel, if you will, by the end of the day, when I've had back to back meetings. I'm struggling to try to figure out, the nuances behind the camera the people that I'm meeting on, right? Zoom fatigue is a thing. I'm trying to juggle all of the other challenges that are coming in between those meetings, right? And to that point, I, you know, get to the end of the day and say, holy crap, the only thing that I want to do, because I have given it my all, is lay on my bed or relax on the couch or stretch it out before the fire. Like, the last thing that I want to do is get in my cold car, get in the cold outdoors, and go into a bright gym where the
Mm.
lights, the like lights that are in there are literally awful, mess with my circadian rhythm. And then all of a sudden have to put in more effort. Like, I've given today my all, but what I've learned through this, I would say the past couple of months, and certainly over the past couple of years, is how to manage and optimize my energy for things that matter. and
Mm.
how to love the struggle and the challenge of when you do, because your life is so aligned and because you've chosen to live your life in these ways in alignment with your core values, your core aspirations, and your core beliefs, the day, no matter what, is going to be challenging. So, how can you make sure that you either optimize your energy levels to make sure that you have either enough left in the tank so that that workout that matters so deeply to you is literally a kick butt workout, or that you are finding what energizes you along the way so that you can have that little spurt of moment. Bianca, right before this, you and I were talking. I was just on the couch, like taking a moment, laying horizontally because most of my day I'm standing up, right? Those little things energize us. And come to find out, when you look at the data, it's like 68%, and we'll link it in the show notes. 68% of people believe that they would be more energetic and they get that more energy dose of feeling after they exercise, but yet there's still always a struggle to get out of this I don't feel like it zone. There's still always that challenge to say, okay, well, even though I might understand, and there's this commonly held belief, as a matter of fact, 69% of US people who were studied in this one study that I'll link in the show notes showed that they have the belief and they are aware that they should be working out. They should be at least engaging in physical exercise at once a day. They know that. People know this. This is not uncommon. But how challenging, especially when you're a mom, especially when you're a dad, especially when you are all of the roles that you've accumulated to this point, to make sure that you don't fall into that statistic where 42% of people say that they just don't have the time, or 56% of people who say, I'm just too tired. Well, that's not a, sleep issue. That's an energy management issue,
Yeah.
right? 35% of people feel more motivated just by thinking or by experiencing an emotional uptick. So, like, for example, motivational videos are a great thing to play when you don't feel like it, to get out of that I don't feel like it zone. How great is a motivational video? Like our team. So, and then I'll have you jump in here. But our team right now is doing an internal fitness challenge. And one of our team members, shout out to Derek, has sent
The OG.
Greg Plitt videos to our team members who have decided to move forward in participating, that to like help spice up our motivation. We hear motivation being thrown around all the time, but what does it actually mean? If we peel back the layers, studies show time and time again that those who are shown or who are here's the thing, have an emotional stimulus that is connected to a higher point of positive emotion, they are more likely to set an intention to actually move their body in a way that's aligned. Whereas those who are exposed to a negative emotional stimuli, for example, like if you were to seek a sad song at the end of the day because you are feeling sad for yourself because maybe you didn't perform in the manner that you didn't, make that sale, you didn't get that client, whatever it is, you're less likely to make intentions and plans and to honor those which have already been made. So, like for me, for example, if I have a really, really crappy day, how much harder is it for those emotions compiled? How much harder is it to break that pattern and say, you know what? My gym, I have bought my house on like 5 criteria. One of the top 5 being the proximity to my gym, because I do not want to be a percentage of the excuses that it says I don't have time. I have 3 minutes to my gym. I could literally throw a stone and it's there.
Yeah.
I have minimized the excuses for me to not honor what I know and what I believe to be best for me, but I know not everyone's that way.
Here's my question though. How did you get to that point? So like you said, kind of starting this off, you've built this up. You've built this ability to resist that I don't feel like it zone, and not even resist it. I want to rephrase that.
Nice.
There are days when both of us do not feel like it. Like after this call, after you and I are done, today's my rest day, but I haven't got my steps in today. I've been sitting basically all day in meetings all day. I'm going to go walk on my treadmill. I don't
Nice.
want to. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. I've been in meetings all day. I'm exhausted.
Same.
I want to go sleep. I want to watch Netflix. I want to eat my rice and chicken. Actually, I really want a burger, but I want my rice and chicken. But I'm going to go walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes just so I can get my steps in. And then I'm going to shower, I'll eat, and then I'm probably going to go to bed. Even though I want to watch a movie, I want to watch a sad movie and I want to lay there and do nothing, but I'm not going to. Even though I don't feel like doing any of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I know you don't either. But how, and I have my answer for this, but I want you to go first. How have you cultivated that? Like what was it for you that got you to the point where not feeling like it is no longer an excuse?
Appreciate the question. And I know that I could answer it from so many different regards, but I'll use the story last night to answer that. So y'all have probably heard me talk about Tina before. If you're new to the show, trust me, we're gonna bring this all the way back around. But Tina is my alter ego that like is so obsessed with food. She has a challenge with food because she has a very tricky relationship with it. And food, to Bianca's point earlier, has very much been a coping mechanism and comfort zone of mine in the past, but also just I know that about myself. And I've worked on rewiring that. I've worked on healthy relationship, but last night was such a challenging week. And the thing is, you and I's week doesn't just end on Friday, which is what it was last night. It
No.
doesn't end on a Saturday. It doesn't end on a Sunday. It just keeps going. So it's almost like that treadmill that will keep going whether or not you step off. And that's the thing. I had the opportunity to literally, and I had the thought, I was on the couch finishing a little digital asset that is going to be helping a coaching client in the future. And something actually I was working on for our team too. And I had this thought come in, which I know for sure was Tina. And she said, "Hey, how nice would it be to get like a nice cheese pizza? Like,
Oh,
maybe some like pineapple on it, maybe some like chicken and some spinach and just like a weird smush of flavors. I love flavors."
that
So
sounds good.
I'm like just imagining for like this is all in a microsecond. How nice would it be to just like not go to the gym? Cause at this point it was like 9 o'clock and I like still hadn't gone to the gym. And, typically I want to make sure that I'm back home from the gym before 9. So I have totally derailed a little bit of my, honoring my boundaries around that. So why not just continue to screw it up? Why not hold myself accountable? How nice would it just be to like roll out of this warm couch, go to the door, pick up a nice hot pizza and just veg out. No one's going to know besides Alan when he sees the empty box in the trash, but no one's going to know but you. And in all of those micro moments, it is exactly what your point is, B, of developing it over time. There were so many moments where this more evolved version of Emilia would not come in and say, "Tina, that sounds so good." And I'm so grateful you have such a wild imagination because, like, girl, let me tell you, I want that too. But here's the thing, girl, like, lean in a little bit closer, right? This is happening in my head, metaphorically. We got like, goals here. Like, let me just come here a little closer. We have goals, girl. We have goals that we've been working to day in and day out. This chicken and rice thing that we've been doing for the past like 3 months, that has to amount to something someday. Otherwise, you're going to be so mad at yourself. And then Tina goes, "Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I do remember when I was 180 plus pounds and I was looking at my clothes and I was just like, I just don't feel fulfilled in these. I don't feel my best. I don't perform at my best. I'm unhealthy. I'm using all these things to cope with all the lack of discipline and the lack of consistency that I had." Don't forget those moments and don't forget that you have goals. So to bring this full circle, I have leveraged my rational mind to not rationalize, but rather to stop the resistance to that sabotagey part, if you
Mm,
will, and rather make friends with her and say, I love this component of you. However, that's just not aligned. Let's remember our goals, and
right.
pulled back in my goals to understand all of the other data points that I have connected to that. Like, just even like extrapolating that one choice, it's not just about the pizza. It's about staying in the comfort zone and not getting outside of that, and
Right.
staying in the I don't feel like it zone, and what that would actually do to all of the challenge that I do for myself. And what has been helpful is actually being a leader and seeing that my consistency, my standards, my own ability to honor my standards in that, regardless of how challenging of a day it was, is actually helping to inspire and motivate thousands of people around the world. That's what motivates me. Because,
Mm,
like we said in our live recently, there are people who cannot get up out of the couch. There are people who are, and this is aggressive, but like being put into the ground as a result of their health choices,
mm,
and some people do not have that moment that I've developed and cultivated over time of self-awareness to say, you can do so much better than this. Not that you're bad, but we have goals, girl. We got to work on these and we got to honor these, because there are people who need you. You need you. And so that's my long-winded answer. I could go into all the stats, like of how I know that 97 million US adults alone are overweight, and how I could just be that another number. Like what of it, right? Like it's a big pool. Like, no, we have goals,
yeah.
and it's more than just your goals. It's who that impacts as a result of you honoring those goals. About you though, B?
Um, it's so I just want to do a little recap. So it sounds like what's driving you and what's pulling you is this, like, it sounds like it's this healthy combination of like using that pain of like you used to be overweight, like remember how that felt, remember how
Mm-hmm.
terrible it felt looking in that mirror, and then also combining that with like that loving self-talk to that other part of you and remembering your goal. So it's kind of like a 3-step series.
Yeah, if you will. Yep. Which
Okay.
is a culmination of self awareness and data about how the brain, body, everything else works and how it
Yeah.
works within me. So, yeah, great summation.
For me, it's kind of twofold. It's number one, remembering why I'm doing it, kind of like what you said, and
Mhm.
number two, the pain component.
Mhm.
Like there's a couple pictures of me that I go back to in my phone, or like I just remember those days where I stand in front of the mirror and I literally cry because I'm like, I don't like how I look. I
Hmm.
don't like feeling this way. I don't like knowing that I have so much more potential and that I'm not doing
Mm.
because I'd rather be comfortable, or I'd rather like
Yeah.
do what's easy, or I hate the feeling of being hungry.
Mm.
And like I get stressed out and I eat when I'm stressed. So like for me, it's that pain component, and also that reminder of like my friend Sam that
Mhm.
I've talked about a few times on here. Like she wouldn't have made an excuse. She had literally a degenerative lung disease that she would still go to the gym twice a day and eat her chicken and rice and do whatever. So like who am I
Mhm.
not to?
Yeah.
So it's like those two things, along with remember why you're doing this. Remember why you're doing this. Remember the physique that you're trying to get, the functionality you're trying to have, the fact that you want to live till you're past your hundreds. Like, remember why you're doing this. It's both, it's so actually very similar to you. It's a culmination of all of those things that I'm just like, there's people counting on me. I
Mm.
can't not do this. I can't let my excuses win. I can't let comfort take over, because then I'm going to have to look at myself in the mirror. And David Goggins talks about this a lot, the accountability mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I have to look in the mirror and be accountable and be like, well, you didn't do what you had to do. Or when I send my coach my check in and I see that nothing has changed, it's like, well, what do you expect? You didn't do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. It exacerbates the pain. And there's a digital asset that I will show really quick here, but I'll link it in the show notes that you can download. Or if you DM me, I'll send it to you and Bianca. But essentially, when it comes to, especially if
Ooh.
you're someone who is impact focused, you are likely going to have your goals front and center only when you've experienced pain. And ironically, your goals are a direct result of the pain that you've had. So just to take you through this visual, and for anyone who doesn't have the visual in front of them, your pain, a lot of people hear your pain can be your purpose, and your pain often is. But what we often forget about is that your vision of the world, of what it could look like without the pain, that becomes actually bigger. That's where your imaginative state is engaged. So like for example, when I was on the couch, or you at the end of the day, going on the treadmill, the pain of not doing this is so great that you can finally envision what it would feel like without this pain. Like what would it feel like to not have to go exercise? Or what would it feel like to just like remove the like necessity out of you, right? Like what would you do? Who would you be? What purpose would actually, as a direct result of that, drive you forward? If you didn't have to exercise, who would you become? If there wasn't
Hmm.
that beckoning saying, this we know consciously is good for us, but yet we don't do it, what type of purpose in life are you going after? And how does that relate and pertain to the mission every single day that relates to the impact and move forward into the impact that you have? So, like, for example, me at 180, give or plus a couple pounds in college, that pain of looking in the mirror, the accountability of like, woof, I am not doing what I can do, what I know I'm capable of. I've been a top elite performing athlete at a D1 school. Like I can do genuinely whatever I put my mind to. So envisioning the world without all of that extra quote unquote baggage, i.e., body fat on me,
Hmm.
that's a world one day I want to live on. Why? Not because of the scale, not because of the mirror. Yes, of course, that exponentiates the pain, but it creates a bigger vision of the world that I want to live in. And so, what has that caused me to do? I actually understand. And part of my purpose is helping to teach others and share with others what are some of the things that we're doing that is motivating us, that is getting us up off the couch. Energy management, calendar management, putting your fitness in your schedule before the week even begins. How does that pertain to my mission? Well, part of mission at the very core of what we do at Evolve Ventures, and this is now impacting our team members, our clients, etc. Health is a critical component of everything that we do. When
Hmm.
you have your health on the rails, it's ironic, but it's true. Your health will derail all the things that are seemingly good in your life. And so use that visual to really drive home that point of, if you're a leader and you want to have and maximize the greatest impact that you could possibly have, look at where your biggest pains are, and what are the excuses that you're coming up with, and how are you falling into that excuse, I don't feel like it zone, rather than the one that is beating the odds. I've had like, there's clients that I have right now that are like married, multiple businesses, like have multiple kids too. They're absolutely crushing it, waking up at 3:30. And it's not about waking up super early and getting after your dreams, but rather it's the discipline of the every day this is happening without fail, honoring their standards, honoring their boundaries. That is where I celebrate. And
Hmm.
that's where them getting outside of their I don't feel like it zone, that is where I heel click and get all giddy, because that is where the true challenge is. And so hopefully this episode it can help you look at maybe where you might not be feeling like it. I think that fitness obviously is one of the most relatable things, um, because obviously we're all emotionally motivated. That's how our brain wiring is. But to that point, I know, B, you have some episode suggestions that can really help send home this not only point, but this concept in different lenses, if you will, from our podcast history. So, what were yours?
Number 16, why longevity, health, wellness, and fitness. Number 18, how your thoughts are screwing you.
Mm.
And number 87, are you a doer or a pretender?
Mm. Mine were starting with episode 84. I have here the fastest way to recognize your worth. Get in the discomfort. Number 78, what are you willing to sacrifice for your dreams? Recognize there's some themes going in here: discomfort, sacrifice, challenge. And then 57, stop making decisions from your heart. This one's going to be interesting for anyone who has not heard that. That'll be fun.
It's a good episode.
Yeah. Be key takeaway for you. What would you like to make sure that the listeners take home with them?
Mel Robbins has an extraordinary TED Talk titled "You're Never Going to Feel Like It."
Mm.
And that is my takeaway. You are never going to feel like it. And you need to have an empowering reason to do so anyways. Something to pull you, a mission, a vision, a purpose, pain, whatever it is, to get you to do it anyways, because you are never going to feel like it.
My biggest takeaway to all of our listeners here would be to check your entitlement.
Ooh.
And I mean that with love.
Ooh.
But for real, let's check our entitlement in the fact that there are so many excuses out there of why we're not honoring our health, when we believe and we know at the core from a scientific level of how important this is for us. How entitled are you to not honor that every single day, to build the belief that you have no time for that? The last time I checked, you are the only one that holds your calendar and your time. So do not be a slave of your entitlement, but rather be the master of your gratitude for your health.
That was great.
Thanks, B.
This was a little bit of a heavier one, but I'm really glad. I think this landed. I think this landed very much. So thank you to all who stuck through this. Thank you for listening. We really hope that this provided value to you and that you can utilize what you heard here. If you want to go deeper into this, if you want more help, if you want more feedback, Out of the Mud, April 29th. So next week. I know Friday night is not when you want to be sitting there on Zoom. Most people go out Fridays or they have plans, but being in that group and going to those events are going to help you completely evolve and transform and get the results that you've been looking for, with a community of people who will support you and who are there on the same mission as you. So April 29th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's the last Friday of every single month. Everything we're going to be talking about is all fitness and health and wellness related. It's a culmination of everything that we've talked about all month. So DM Emilia or myself, or the link is in both of our bios on Instagram, to register for the event.
And if you like this episode, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts. That is what will help us bump to the top of people's feeds when they are looking for things that could help them. So hopefully this resonated with you. If it did, go ahead and rate and review us, and feel free to also send this with a friend or to a colleague or some someone that you know that might be struggling with this, because there's nothing better than getting a podcast delivered in your DMs, in your WhatsApp, and your iMessages that speaks to your truth and the challenge that you've sought and connects you to resources and community that can actually help you work through that struggle. So screenshot and tag us on Instagram if you happen to have made it all the way through, and we might have something special for you. So much love to everyone. And I'm excited to see you in this month's Out of the Mud. Stay tuned for our next episode 100. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So much love, everyone. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. And we hope that you get a little bit more into the zone that feels like it, but because you love Rush Your Feelings. All righty.
Bye,
Much
everyone.
love. Bye.